Welcome to Sunny Day Stamping. I'm Julie Baca and I am so glad that you're here. We are making a great pocket card. This can be just for a card, or you can put a gift card in there. We're going to make a little gift card sleeve. It's going to be very easy. I got tons of tips to share with you. Honestly, the hardest part is going to be figuring out like which side of your pretty paper you want to be on the outside. So now, if you're new to my channel, welcome. For every video I do, I have a corresponding blog post, and it's linked in the description of this video. You can just click it. It'll take you directly over to the blog post where you're going to be able to see lots of photos. You're going to see the list of supplies. You can even purchase supplies right from there if you want your cards to look just like mine. But I try to make all my projects not only not very many supplies, but ones that you can use with the supplies you have at home. So let's get started. I just love how this pocket card turned out, and it is so easy to make. I'm so excited how to show you how to do this. It's got this cute little gift card holder, but you don't need to do the gift card either. So I used a combination of the Layering Leaves stamp set, which has these awesome greetings, and they're nice and big, as you notice, which I didn't realize that when I bought it, and I'm like, wow, I love this thing. It's great for simple stamping. It also pairs perfectly with the bow punch that's going to cut out these leaves and these flowers. And then you're also going to need a circle punch or a circle die to make this central focal point. You could also you could cut a square if you don't have a circle punch, but you will want a punch or a die in order to make this nice thumb notch. I just think that gives it that extra little special touch. Now for this project, you're gonna need some patterned paper, and I'm using the delightfully eclectic patterned paper. This is a huge pack of paper, 48 pieces of 12 by 12, and it comes in just all these different patterns. I've used this previously in other projects too, and I still have a ton of this paper, so this is a great investment. Now once you pick the piece that you want, you got to decide which side you're going to use. And then all you're going to need is you're going to pick out one color of ink and then one color of cardstock that matches that. So I'm going to use garden green. And then you need one other color from your paper. So this is really low supplies. You need a piece of patterned paper, one color of ink, and two other colors of cardstock. Now I'm going to show you exactly how to cut this paper because, like I've said before, I get intimidated cutting these big pieces of paper, and they're so pretty, so I don't want to mess it up. So you're going to grab your paper trimmer, and you need a 6 by 9 1/4 piece of paper. Now if your pattern has a direction like mine does, you want to rotate it so that the direction of the design is going horizontally before you cut it at 6 inches. And actually, I like to keep my paper trimmer closed when I'm cutting 6 inches because I just bump it up there. I don't even have to measure it because it just bumps against this lip. Now you're going to be able to make 2 pocket cards with 1 sheet of designer series paper. So I'm going to show you how to cut this one. Now we're going to pull out the arm to your paper trimmer. And I'm gonna grab my measurements here. All the measurements for this are on my website, but my email subscribers will get this print and make project sheet that you can just print out and have next to your workspace. You can also scan the QR code that'll take you to the blog post so you can have access to the video and all the photos. If you'd like to be on my email list, there's a link in the description to sign up for that. So this piece of paper needs to be 6 by 9 1/4. And that is going to leave us a perfect amount of paper left over so that we can decorate our envelope. So don't throw this out, hold it to the side, and we'll do that towards the end of the video. Now we're going to score this at 7 2 3/4. Now, designer series paper is thinner than cardstock, so you do want to be careful when you are scoring your paper. I had a customer say, request that I say that on video, and I totally agree. You don't want to go mashing your scoring blade on here because you can tear through this. So just use a lighter pressure. Now you're going to rotate it, and you're going to score it at 5/8 of an inch along the bottom. And this is just going to create that, I'm having a hard time talking. It's going to create the little pocket for the bottom. So you want to keep this lined up at 5/8 of an inch. Like, okay, now I've just scored it. Pretend I did this the first time. Score it. Keep it right there. Keep it right there. You don't even have to move it. Now bring your cutting blade down right along that same measurement for that score line and stop when you hit the score line that you already scored horizontally here. And then open up your paper trimmer, bring your blade all the way down to the bottom and come up from the bottom and stop at this score line. And I know you can't see that very well on camera, but you're going to be able to feel it when you put it in your paper trimmer. So now we're going to get rid of these two pieces in order to create our little envelope. So to do this, you're going to just grab your paper snips and you can see where that score line is, but I want to just snip it at an angle like that, so that it folds up really nice and professional looking. So you can see the score line there, and we're just going to snip it at an angle. So then this is what your pocket is going to look like. Well, kind of like your envelope. So now you're going to just fold and burnish on all those score lines, and don't just fold it and burnish it with your bone folder. Make sure that it lines up nice and straight. It just gives you a much better product at the end if you just make sure that those are lined up, because sometimes the scoring isn't perfect, but you can fix it. Now, so these are folded in and one side is wider than the other, and that's on purpose so that when you fold this down, this seam is right in the middle and looks really, really nice. So now we're going to test fold the bottom of our envelope to make sure it closes. And this one does. I kind of wish I would have cut it a little off. If you cut it off, like if you cut it not perfectly, which I did twice when I was making my examples, when you go to fold this, it'll be kind of like buckled up. So if that happens to you, just don't worry about it. Fold it, unfold it, and then you're going to put this back in your paper trimmer, because all that needs to happen is you just need to trim just a skosh more off of these two edges here, and so that it'll line up perfectly. And you can do that in your paper trimmer, or you can do that with scissors, and it's going to be covered up by this flap. So even if it's not perfectly, it doesn't look very nice, you can cover up the mess there. Now grab your silicone craft mat, and we're going to glue. I'm going to make sure you've got the wide end in first, the wide side first, and just put glue along that wide side, just a line. And then you could put glue on the inside here, but I don't know if you necessarily need to. And we're going to just glue that closed. And then put some glue along this bottom flap here. Now you've got this great little pocket in order to, and you can put a card sleeve in there. But you're going to grab your circle punch, or if you have a thumb notch punch, or if you need to use a die, and you're gonna, this is the center of your card, this seam. So just put that, center that up in your circle die, and don't go all the way in, right? Just take just a little partial circle, and then double check yourself. Am I equidistant on both sides? And then punch that out to create that great little detail. Now, while you've got your circle punch out, go ahead and punch yourself a circle for the front. If you're going to do my other option, you can cut out also a piece of vellum to be stamped on. This would be the stepped up version of this card. Now we need 3 leaves. And I figured out that you need just a 1.5 inch strip for this punch, because you can see that it has the flower punch on there also, but I just want to do the leaves. So that's why it's better to have a skinny piece of paper so that I'm not wasting paper punching out green flowers. Now, an added touch is just to punch a leaf out of vellum. It's just going to add a really soft touch to your card. This is optional, but so, so pretty. Lastly, we want to punch out a couple of flowers. And so just like we used a skinny part to cut out the leaves, now I just need this flower. So I'm just going to put the little corner of this paper in here and punch. And you can see that I'm punching upside down. Turn your punch over so you can see what is going on and get a better punch. Now this stamp set has these leaves that you can that you punch out, that you can stamp and punch. It's just a personal preference whether you like to stamp first and then punch, or in this case, I punched all of my leaves out and I'm going to stamp on top of them now. Now this is optional. I like to stamp on my Stamp and Pierce mat, especially if I'm using those clear photopolymer stamps. I just feel like I get a better impression. And then I just put a piece of scrap paper on top. This is the big grid paper, but I cut it into 4 pieces to get these nice little rectangles. And like I said, we only need 1 color of ink for this project. So this stamp set actually has 4 different ways that you can stamp these leaves, which I think that's so great. And so these can be just stamped alone on paper, but they also fit perfectly in this cutout. But then there's this one that just perfectly lines up on these leaves. And we'll see if I can do it with this camera in the way. There, and it just adds like a little shadow, a little bit of interest. I love it. So I'm going to do that again. I'm just going to show you what one of those leaves looks like stamped on top of the green. Oh no, I'm not lining it up right. Let's see. Isn't that so cute? And now let me show you what it looks like if you stamp on that vellum, this vellum here. Oh, it looks so pretty. Now, when you stamp on vellum, it can wipe off. So you do need to be like extra patient, which I'm not great at being patient, for it to dry. So if you're going to use this on your project, like I would stamp it first and then let it sit while you're doing the rest of your project. Isn't that beautiful? Now grab your circle and pick one of those greetings. They all fit wonderfully in this 2 3/8 circle. And then there's this sweet little flower that I'm just going to add just at the bottom here. So this is all going to go on here like this, but I just want to show you one other option. One of my other options of the card is to stamp on the vellum. The vellum just gives it a really soft look. I just really like that. So you can then you would layer this on top of here. Once this dries completely, then just use a little bit of glue and make sure you press the glue down nice and tight so that it disappears and there's not like a white spot underneath, but it just gives a softness to this that I really liked, and I'll show you some in your examples. So if you're going to use this one, then go ahead and use your leaf also that you did in the vellum. All right, now grab your little flowers. We're also going to stamp on those using that same color of ink. Now, before we put our ink away, we want to stamp on our inside layer. Now, this is the how big the inside layer is, because you're going to fold this up into a pocket. And I want to do this first before I stamp, because I want to like lay this in here to make sure I know what is going to be covered up so I don't stamp in the wrong place. The other thing you can also do is grab your gift card and tuck it in like it's tucked in that you're going to give it, so that if you want to hide a little image underneath here, you can do that, so that when they pick it up, open it up, there's something hidden in there, either a message or just a little flower. So now we'll go ahead and glue this on. And then for your pocket, you can either glue it on, or you can use tear and tape if you want it to be a little stronger. The liquid glue works just fine, but if you want extra security, you can use the tear and tape. I'm just putting a little bit of glue on the edge here. I'm actually gonna, I think I put a little too much glue, so I'm gonna bring my silicone craft sheet off in case this squishes. And then I just hold it, and just be patient and hold it here for several seconds to make sure that that is nice and tight. Now, if that is gonna hold your gift card like that, if you want to put it in like this, I would definitely use tear and tape. I can feel it poofing this up here, so. And then the other thing you can do while you're still holding this is just put your bone folder in there and just have it widen that up just a little bit So I am not someone who loves putting a bunch of parts and pieces together. I just don't have the patience, which is sad. That's sad that it says that about me. But it also made me come up with a solution, and this is it. Grab yourself a little piece of tape and put it down on your work surface with the sticky side up. And now I'm going to build my foliage bouquet on my piece of tape, and then we're going to put it under here so that, and I can move this stuff around where I want it. I am going to use this vellum leaf that we have. I'm not going to use the stamped one because that's kind of for the stepped up version of this card, and kind of put them at different lengths. Put these flowers in here and make sure they are kind of up high enough so that we'll be able to see them when we put them underneath our circle. There we go. Now you can pick up all of these. We're not messing with glue. The glue's not squishing everywhere. It's all on this piece of tape. And then we're just going to go and lay it underneath our sentiment, and it's just all right there. Look how easy that was. Now, to add some extra interest, we're just going to stick this to the front of our pocket envelope here with some dimensionals, just to have it pop up a little bit and create a shadow behind there. I'm going to put this down towards the right. And isn't that beautiful? This great bouquet. But we've got one more. So grab yourself another small piece of tape, and you can put it at an angle or you can put it straight up. And this one is going to go right inside our pocket. So we've got the sticky side of the tape up and the smooth non-sticky side down. So now we can just run it underneath our paper, put it exactly where we want it, and then just press, and it's stuck in there. And I just thought this looked so cute. When you add your gift card, it's got this piece of foliage sticking up here, and pop it in. I've got so many examples to show you. So I just want to show you, if you wanted to do the vellum one, just put tiny dots of glue around it. Put it on top of the pink circle, and then just run your finger over the glue until it squishes out where you can't see it anymore. And I'll just show you the difference. It just kind of makes it softer. And then this is what it would look like to slide in that vellum stamped foliage. It just makes it all just a little softer, but this is definitely a little stepped up version because you have to wait a minute for this vellum to dry. But we've got this piece of designer series paper left, so let's go ahead and decorate our envelope. I'm just trying to decide which side of the paper. I think I do want this one. So with your envelope, grab your craft sheet in case you get glue anywhere, and we're going to put glue on the flap below this score line. And I put it close to the score line because I want it to really adhere well. I put it close to the edge. Sometimes I go off like I just did. And then you're going to butt up your piece of designer series paper right around that score line. And then you want to check it. You want to pick it up and check it. Is it extending past the fold line? Then you're going to want to move it back down. When you know it's where you want it, press it in place. And now grab your paper snips, turn this over. It's going to show me exactly where to cut it so that we don't have any excess paper hanging off, and it's going to match perfectly. Doesn't that make a gorgeous set? So I've got some variations to show you, some variations in the foliage. This is all with that same pack of paper, all the same colors of inks and papers. So this one has the vellum on the front just to soften it, and I did 2 swaths of foliage. This one also has the vellum with the vellum stamped leaf. We didn't look in this one. Hold on, let's look in here. Oh, it looks just like the one we made. Now this is right out of that same pack of designer series paper, and I just changed one thing. Instead of using the green ink, I used the Pretty Peacock to match this paper, and I used all pink leaves except for the vellum. So that just gives you another option. You don't need 2 pieces of 2 different colors of cardstock if you don't want to. This is from that same pack of Designer Series paper also, except I changed out the pink for a yellow to match this paper better. These would also make great gifts for the holidays. You could even do them in holiday paper, which would be so cute. Thank you so much for watching. If you liked this video, give me a thumbs up. You can also click that subscribe button so you don't miss out on any of my videos. Thank you so much for watching. Have a sunny day.